Alright, so we don't have video for this podcast.
We'll just put up our audio.
So we can have some entertaining, some scenery of mountains and clouds and puppies.
Puppies? Why the fuck are we gonna add puppies? I call them bitches, by the way.
You know, as I said, being poor is also an advantage sometimes because it brings out creativity.
Right.
So sometimes limitations are also good. Mistakes are good because it brings out creativity.
Right.
Because now that we don't have any video for this podcast, we have to come up with something creative.
Exactly. And okay, dude, maybe you set the bar a little too high. Now we do have to come up with something creative. We really didn't need to in the future. You could have just added it.
Come up with something.
Don't worry. Whatever happens, everything's gonna be fine.
What about gameplay footage? Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. New goal. Oh my fucking god, man.
I've been watching a lot of Jordan Peterson.
Same.
YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
Some like recommendation the titles are nice, but it's like 5 minutes, 5-minute videos. You know the 5-minute ones,
Yeah.
right? They're really nice. I love them. But you're right. The alpha male thing, it's been marketed wrong.
It is.
In a really
I really
toxic way.
think it's marketed. I think guys need to hear this at a young age of picking up their own shit.
Yeah, because you
Fixing
gotta
their
learn
own
how
life.
to take your own responsibilities. You gotta man up. Like
You do.
that sounds wrong. These days,
Say man up. It's fine.
Yeah, no, but I can't. That's the thing. I can't because snowflakes these days they're like, oh, man up. Oh, why are you so sexist? Right.
That's true.
They're like, oh, it shouldn't matter if you're a man or.
Oh, do you hate women? Hey, literally should do it.
No, but how else am I supposed to say it? Cause
you really can't, man. Let me tell you, if your audience is mainly male, what the fuck are you supposed to say? And it's common with guys to resonate better with this, right?
Yeah.
Of taking. Let's be honest. I get it. What do you call it? I'm not saying that girls shouldn't take responsibility or anything, but I think all these advice Jordan Peterson gives, he himself said, aligns better with males, with guys.
Yeah.
And also that, man, psychology is so fucking interesting.
It is very interesting.
After I read his book,
Yeah.
that got me hooked into reading another psychology book.
But you know what's sad? Okay, so the same thought process goes into everyone's mind, right? Psychology is really interesting, right?
Right.
And so recently, in the past 10 years, 20 years, psychology has been one of the top 3 most chosen bachelor degrees, ever.
Right.
So everyone takes psychology in college, right?
Mm.
And so the sad part is demand's really low for psychology right now because the supply is so high.
Mm.
There's so many psychology students, so people who take that subject, they usually don't get paid that much.
I can tell you something though, in school and shit, we learn about atoms, a lot of shit, but we never learn about ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's the part that psychology touches that intrigues a lot of us. We want to understand what we feel.
No, but listen.
No, we
that's
do.
the thing.
No,
I know. No, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that anything that's taught in school, kids will start hating it, right? So imagine if you're forced to learn guitar, you're not gonna like it, right?
That happens.
But
But
if you learn it by your own,
Mm.
you're gonna love it much more, right? So if this was taught in school, people wouldn't value it so much. Why are we spending our time learning psychology? We should be learning about atoms.
I mean, I guess so, but
I think some of this you gotta learn from yourself.
Of course. That's how I got into what you call the psychology and shit, right? I even saw some lectures. Those open courseware, thake na?
Yeah.
I took the Psych 101. If you take, first thing they say, this course is about yourself.
Yeah.
Because it really is, and that's the funny part. I think you can better control and understand yourself. I think it does make your life better, your habits better at least. That's what
I feel
psychology does.
one way people can actually upgrade themselves, man up,
Yeah.
is just start telling the truth from now on, you know?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times people
Right.
hide stuff. They're like, oh, it's too difficult. No, I shouldn't tell this to my mom or something. Just say it outright, okay? Listen, trust me, the consequences you're gonna face by chronic, lying, forever. If you keep lying, it's gonna ruin your brain because, it's gonna be a habit. Right? And this is gonna stay until you die.
And not only that, when you lie, you know what you rely on? Passive signals. Like today, I'll give you an example. Like, I'm not offering any names or anything. But in the group chat, people say, oh, you guys are gonna have fun and shit, but don't take me. Just say if you can come out.
I'm your also.
Yeah, you said that. You said that exactly. Like, you know, I don't like it when people say shit passively. If you wanna say something, say it to my face.
This is something that I really like. I just find it like pathetic.
Yeah, same. Honestly, I understand that. I resonate with you there.
Don't be passive aggressive.
That I hate passive, and like people hiding their intentions is also not nice.
Honestly, I'd rather prefer you be aggressive rather than passive aggressive.
Yeah, because then I know where you stand, and honestly, I'll have more respect.
Dude, I hate it so much when people like do something, but then they don't actually mean it, or like they're wearing a mask and like they don't show their true emotions and shit. Like that's just being a coward.
It's a fake persona you create.
Yeah.
Like you're basically lying to not others. You're also lying to your fucking self. When you go home after that shit, trust me, you're not gonna fucking know who the fuck you are. That happens to actors, I guess, right? I heard it does. They have personality crisis. I don't know what the fuck is
might be because
I've heard at least.
Yeah,
Jim Carrey, I think, suffered from that.
Oh right, because he's been playing like so many different roles. Like he went from playing full comedy roles to like really deep psychological thriller roles. So like that affects people.
And you know what method acting is?
Yeah.
So like man, method acting. Imagine how much it would fuck you up if you play like a fucking
this guy Christian Bale.
Yeah, exactly.
He went from machinist. He was like skinny.
Yeah.
And then he went Batman next role. So that was crazy.
One word, steroids, but let's be honest, it's all everybody uses.
You saw the Kumail Nanjiani transformation.
You know who he looked like before? He looked like those Pakistani tech scammers too. That Pakistani guy from JoJo.
He looked Indian.
He looked like Abdul from JoJo afterwards, you know. Ah man, not being racist definitely. But
in Hollywood, come on man, the industry demands it. They have to use some stuff.
Man. And it's also
and there's so much pressure.
I have nothing against it as long as you say you're using steroids.
Yeah. And then people who lie, it's like that's the thing about lies in general, you know. If you say one lie, you gotta continue to cover that up, and you gotta lie more to cover that up. Right. And it never stops. And then at one point you're like, shit, man, I just want this to end.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. I'm telling that from personal experience as well because there's a time. Man, I think a lot of people go through this stage.
Like, some people, like it's nothing serious.
Yeah.
But people like who's been growing up like this, right? Mm-hmm. People who are like in top industries and their entire careers are based on lies. Imagine how they feel. How do they sleep at night, man? They're sitting on like a pile of money, but then they know it's like lies and it's a house of cards.
Right. That is true, man. I think that's also, in Peterson's book, he even says that whatever you do, no matter like, let me give you an example, right? Regarding politics, even though sometimes we know the person knows the other side is wrong, he still tries to debate and say like how it's not wrong. Technically, you're not telling the truth there.
Yeah.
Peterson says whatever you do, stick to the fucking truth. That's how you know that you you'll be fulfilled with yourself. You know how pathetic Steven Crowder?
No. What's that?
He's like, what do you call it? I don't know. He does shit on American politics and what do you call it? Woke culture and shit, right? He debates against it. But that's the thing. Like, politics also gets involved with him. What he does is he goes to colleges and says like, prove me wrong, and he debates students. But when people with like the same knowledge as him try to debate him, he doesn't want to debate because he's. And that just looks wrong because it just looks like you want to debate people lower than you. Because you just want to be right, and being right is not the same as telling.
Because being right, anyone can be right, but it takes a man to admit when you're wrong.
Definitely, and I think you should. You shouldn't be afraid.
And you have to learn humility. You have to learn how to lower yourself at times. Which are good, because you're not the best in this world, like at anything. You gotta understand there are gonna be people who are more smarter than you, and there's a lot you can learn from.
Preferably Asians. Nah, but like, to be fair, like what do you call it? Asians are usually, like statistically speaking, they are better.
They're smart.
They are not just smart, regarding sport and shit too, they're dominating. It's crazy. Olympics, everything.
Because just for one reason.
I think they have very good work ethic.
Just think about it. It's not even their physique, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have better builds than them. They're not that well built. It's all comes down to their work ethic, as you said.
It does.
It's like their discipline.
There
they
are
have
differences, of
crazy
course.
discipline.
They do. Like, I found a study, like this recent book I'm reading. It's about emotional intelligence, right? So what they said was, like, it was regarding homework, right?
Man, you've been reading a lot of books.
I have. I love fucking reading psychology books. Like, you have that book about habits. You see, it's practical stuff that, like, we do in our daily-to-daily basis, and it's like stuff we don't know that we know.
Yeah.
You understand?
And then when you read it, you're like, oh shit, that's crazy.
That's true.
Now.
Like, I couldn't formulate it into words before, but now I can.
Yeah.
So, in this book, what they say is, like, it's high school students.
Yeah.
So, what the difference was mainly, it wasn't what we call it, that they were naturally gifted or anything. Sure, everybody did bad on tests.
Yeah.
But the Asian parents, what they did was, they said, okay, you did bad on this, then study at night. If that still isn't enough, then sleep or like wake up early and then study in the morning as well.
Yeah.
And the Asians usually do better.
Yeah.
So, it's work ethic is a huge part as well. But I guess it can be threatening for people to listen to, like, directly become a fucking 100-kilometer marathon runner when you can even run 2 meters. I guess, like, everything comes down to starting small. Baby steps.
It's like, there's this one scene in BoJack Horseman where he tried doing a marathon.
Yeah.
And he sees this one neighbor, like, run around the entire block.
Mm.
So he's like, you know what, I'm gonna join him. And then Iktu Dorai, he's unconscious. He was like, and then he was asking the neighbor, how do you do it? And the neighbor's like, it's not easy, it's hard, but you gotta do it every day. It's like, it gets easier every day.
Of course. I mean, I think,
that goes for, like, anything, honestly. Like, natural talent can only take you so far, right?
Yeah.
But consistency beats everything else.
Of course, that's the case. But what do you call consistency? With that, I think with everything, I think you've experienced this as well. You start working out, right?
Yeah.
Every day is not the same. Some days you feel motivated as fuck.
Yeah.
Some days you feel demotivated. But when you decide to show up, when you're demotivated, I guess that's what defines character.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? It shows that even though it's hard, you're still doing it. It doesn't have to be a good day for you to do whatever you're doing. You can do it regardless.
Yeah.
And I guess from time to time it can both get easy and hard.
There are some days when we're really down, right?
Yeah.
What do you do on days when you're like really down?
Me?
Yeah.
I meditate. By meditating, I think I did this on my podcast with Inam too. Yeah. Like, we also have this false understanding of meditation. It's like a Buddhist monk up in the fucking mountains. No, I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
People who hasn't heard of practical meditation, at least,
Right.
People who have like no idea of what meditation is. Because I used to think that way before. Right. So with meditation, I think it's just I just even if I focus on 5 of my breaths, I think that's something to be proud of. And with meditation, I think I even talk to myself sometimes.
See, that's not bad.
Yeah.
See, meditation, it's marketed wrong. As you say, it's like monk, everyone thinks of that, right?
Yeah.
But all it is just sitting still and being left alone with your thoughts. With no distractions. No phone. Phone kitchen, no one around you, just sit still. You don't even need to do all that, the pose.
No, you don't.
You don't have to do any of that.
Lie down. Sit in whatever position.
Sit in your chair, lie down and just think. Alright?
Right. So, like, what I do usually, I focus on my breath for some time.
Yeah.
And it's like, just relax completely. Try to relax your body at least. And after that, I, try to, understand what my thoughts are telling me. Like, is this situation actually how it is? Is this actually reality?
Yeah.
Or is your mind exaggerating it? Because we tend to do
it.
We tend to exaggerate situations.
This is what I was gonna say, right? When I'm having a really bad day, like I obviously imagine I wasted half my day, right? Because I'm feeling miserable, and then I think I just sit still and I think about all my problems, right? And that's kind of toxic, I think about all the negative aspects, right? And then I think about if these problems are gonna last the next year, or if it's a long-term problem,
right?
Or just think about the future, and you'll realize that these problems they're quite small.
They are.
Even if you think that it's the world right now, it's not. It's not that big.
It really isn't, and
you might be like, someone. If someone's listening, they might be like, no, what I'm going through right now is crazy. Okay, it's really hard. It is hard for you. I'm not gonna deny that. Because we all go through pain, and we shouldn't belittle someone for feeling pain.
Of course,
But
yeah.
If you look back on it in the future, maybe even a week, month from now, you're gonna realize that it wasn't that big.
So yeah, I understand you, and with that, I think I heard this from one guy. I forgot his name. He said, right, it's okay, and I think this guys need to hear this a lot because we tend to have a hard time like understanding. I did.
Yeah.
I'm speaking this from like experience at least. I had a hard time understanding my emotions and feelings. We sometimes have a hard time doing that because we're afraid that it might lead us to crying, feeling bad, or more pain in general. Now I don't know about girls because I'm not a girl myself, but I can tell as guys, a lot of us suffer from this problem. So with that, I would like to say it's for everyone is that it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay there.
Exactly.
I understand that like everybody has problems, of course, and I'm not denying your problem is small.
Yeah.
But after you think of that problem, find even if it's the smallest way you can change it. Even if you change it by 1%.
Exactly.
It's still a change, right? It's the situation, it's still better. And with some cases, there may be sometimes that you can't do anything about it. Maybe negative thoughts and emotions.
Yeah.
Then like the wise Inam said, keep yourself busy. Keep yourself busy. Try out new stuff and buy new stuff, man. I even tried out dancing that other day, and it's like it doesn't hurt to learn new stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Man, it changes the world for you if you learn something
does.
new.
Yeah.
It can completely change your life.
And I think this is what leads you to bad habits. Like people who smoke, as far as I know, some of them are not even like that addicted. The reason they do it is because they have nothing better to do.
That sucks.
Nah, that is true. For some people like you, they legit can control it when they're busy.
Yeah.
But other than that, they really can't control it.
When they're busy, that's the last thing they'll think about, right? Because they're doing something, they're active in a work.
Right.
But if you're left alone, that's when the negative emotions, bad habits, they all rush in.
And what do you call it? I understand that, of course, addiction is different. I'm talking about the people who can actually control it. But some people do it because they have nothing better to do. I think it's the same case with fapping.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, because if
with
they're
masturbation,
busy, it's like if you're doing work, right?
Yeah.
If you're writing an essay, would you stop and start fapping?
Masturbating?
No.
That's
the last thing you do because you're into it, right?
Definitely.
So find something that you're into.
Definitely. Find something that you're into, or just, the best way to do that. I guess that is also like an advice that people have a hard time resonating with, right? Because you can always find something that you're into, but they're like, how the fuck do I start? How the fuck do I do that? And with that, don't keep in mind that it does it's something that you have to just try it out. You'll find out automatically if you like it or not.
And it's like, don't try too hard,
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in life, it's surprising how many things in life just come by chance, just by luck, Man, I've been playing badminton for almost professionally for 3 years now, right? How did it start? I just saw some people playing outside GYC, and I was like, yo, mom, I'm gonna go there and check it out. Right, so what if that day I wasn't crossing that road, What if I didn't see them play?
Right.
Then 3 years of badminton, this wouldn't have happened.
Right.
It's crazy how some things are based
it's with that, be open to options as well. Try out new stuff. What's the worst that can happen? You waste some time.
Exactly, and you waste time on your bad habits.
And
a lot more time.
Regarding that, Aafwan, some people I guess have problems with due to quarantine at least. I guess fapping is a huge problem. Internet porn is nowadays. Because whatever you go into, even if you go into YouTube, trust me, you will find something that's gonna sexually tempt you at a point.
And this is a problem not just for the pandemic, but in general.
In general, of course.
Getting pornography so easily and at your fingertips, it's not good for humans.
Definitely not, man. What do you call it? It's the same thing they say, sex sells, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it is true. It's what do you call it? It's our desires that get the best of us. But that's the thing, when you keep yourself busy doing stuff.
People, man, you could base an entire episode on this. There are so many problems that porn has caused. Guys, they get a false expectation from sex, from women in general.
Yeah.
Then they have problems just being sexual in real life, being social in real life. A lot of antisocial problems.
Right. And the main thing, they waste a fuck ton of time
That's crazy.
doing it. Like, you know, I haven't been like, when I was like at my, I guess every guy has gone through this bad habit at a point. Like at its peak. At my peak, it wasn't as that worse as I've heard with some people. But still, I just remember those days where, like, you know, it felt like I had no control over my life.
Yeah.
It really did. Like, when I don't fap, like, I'm not saying cut like fapping out completely from your life, because that's not a practical thing to say.
Yeah, that's not healthy either.
That's not healthy either, and that's not practical either,
Yeah.
because at a point you are going to relapse.
Yeah.
And for that, I'd like to say, like, people who do no fap and shit, or no nut from November, I'm just gonna refer to it as that. Don't do it with streaks in mind.
Yeah.
Because when you have streaks in mind, that means you're gonna relapse at a point.
Yeah.
You're already accepting the fact that you are.
At that point, you're just taking it as a challenge to show your friends, you know. Do it for yourself.
Social validation, right?
Yeah, do it for yourself, not for the social media.
Definitely, man. That's like, you know, honestly, like, I find it low-key pathetic, but I also understand that.
A lot of people, like, I've seen this happen, is that they have problems keeping their word these days. And as just a person, alright, I value people's word a lot, alright?
Yeah.
Like, even in general, I don't promise anything, right? You'll never see, if you scroll through text, you'll never see me saying that, oh, I promise I'll do this. That's because I only promise when I can actually keep it, right? And if I can't keep it, I don't say it. So, and not just that, if I say something like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I follow through. And following through, that habit is really valuable. Like, you know, we said it, tumhi bolchilo, oh, I'll start a podcast. You weren't like just saying, oh, we should start a podcast, and you didn't follow through, right?
Follow through.
You actually followed through. And that's so valuable. Like, even I said, okay, I'm gonna make a Genshin video. I woke up at like 6, recorded it, edited it, and uploaded by 10. See, I just decided, like, last night, and then today I just did it. So following through. Because when you start doing something, you realize, oh, it's actually fun, I'll do this.
Yeah.
But even now, we see so many of our friends saying a lot of stuff, and they might mean it genuinely, but they don't follow through, and that's so sad.
And like when people say, I want to kill myself, damn, dying is what I want.
No, I don't do that.
I don't respect that. Honestly, I just don't want to hear you say that shit. It's like, come on, man, you're saying bullshit right now.
Man, you don't understand what you're saying.
Exactly. It's like, what... And I'm not going to refer to any names, obviously. What do you call it? Remember that time we went outside and somebody was like, what do you call it? Oh yeah, I love bugs, dissecting and shit.
Yeah.
And that's just, you're creating a fake persona of yourself.
I was like, listen, dude, that's immature, alright? That's low-key immature. You don't like watching people being cut in half.
Yeah,
right?
no one does.
No one does. You must be a psychopath, because even doctors don't. Alright? Doctors, alright, I respect them so much because this is something that they don't enjoy doing. Okay, they don't enjoy cutting up people, but this is something they have to do.
They have to do, exactly.
Because they're saving lives, right?
Right.
That friend, after they said that, remember next time we met up, I brought a cockroach and I was like, dissect it. And then they were like, no, yeah.
Man. See, it's like, I think people do this for attention. I guess so. I don't know. Okay, I can guess the motives. Of course, people can.
I think that they just want something to define their personality so bad that they just make up stuff.
Yeah, that is true, and it's not the truth. It's everything except the truth, most of the time. Ah, man, what a world, huh?
You know, man, this is gonna be so controversial.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I don't like people who go through gender identities as a phase. You know?
Me
just
neither.
To define themselves.
Me neither.
Because this is something that's really important, alright?
Yeah.
I respect the friends who genuinely understand their gender and they know, like, they wanna be a guy or a girl, right? They wanna change themselves.
Right.
Alright? And I know the people who've actually thought about it a lot and they took decisions, right? But I don't like the people who are like, alright, I'm gonna like guys today, I'm gonna like girls the next day.
Do it for the trend.
Yeah, at that point, why are you announcing it to social media that I am now into girls, alright? I am, and then the next day you change it again. Like, this is something that it's really personal to yourself, alright?
Right, you don't need to share it.
Yeah, find yourself first and then people will eventually get to know, right?
I guess so, like, let me give you an example, right? If I were to like start, if I were to attend like one MMA class and then put on my bio MMA practitioner.
Exactly.
And you know, it's like
Exactly.
you're
Because
doing it for the
you're
trend.
disrespecting the people who are
Actually
into
doing
MMA.
it.
Like, I didn't start playing badminton and the next day I was like, oh, badminton, professional, I'm into badminton, playing badminton every day. No.
You know, sometimes like that thing about like what do you call it, going through stuff as a phase. I know some people even claiming they were raped for the
And
hype.
then-
That's, imagine how fucked up that is. Just imagine. Think
And-
about it for a second. Just faking that
And
you're
not
raped.
just that, like, just for your Asha, this is like, alright, listen, I feel really bad for all the girls who actually get raped, okay, and that's
Yeah,
a really
of course,
big problem.
it's a big
huge
problem. We're not
and-
ignoring
and
that
we
at all.
hate it so much. We hate rape so much. Like, it's one of the ugliest things in humankind. right?
Yeah.
But with that, the opposite problem also arises when victim blaming becomes a huge deal, and no one talks about this because they're scared about it, right?
Mhm.
Because people will think that we support rape, but no, that's not it. There are girls who are falsely accusing guys, and you don't understand. A rape accusation ruins your life. You'll never find a job. You'll never probably be accepted into social circles,
Right.
and it completely destroys your image.
Of
So
course.
this isn't common. It's rare,
It's rare, but it's still
But-
a
but it's-
possibility.
it's
You
a
can't
possibility.
ignore that.
and girls should know this too. That victim blaming. It ruins a
Victim
guy's
blaming,
life.
yeah, of course. And like what do you call? And you know what it takes to make a rape accusation? Just the girl saying he raped me, and the guy not having the perfect alibi, of course.
Yeah.
Imagine if you don't have alibi somehow,
Yeah.
and you weren't even. This has happened a lot of times. I think in America at least.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard some cases. But imagine just that ruining your life just because someone made a false accusation. What does the girl get? I guess this is related to the American justice system.
Yeah.
30 days jail. And she's back to her life, doing whatever the fuck she wants, and some people may even think she got raped. And she gets the sympathy for it.
Yeah. But man, just in general, this is such a sensitive topic, because, if a girl says that, right, and there's no other witness, how will we know who's actually telling the truth?
It is so true. And
Right,
you know,
right now I'm thinking about it, how? How can you tell?
yeah, that is true. And not only that, you know that, we base our evidence of witnesses, right?
Yeah.
You know how flawed someone's
Oh,
memory
human-
can be.
Even if they never lie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
It
their
might, the mind automatically
Yeah,
does
yeah.
it.
Their brain
Yeah.
automatically changes
Changes
reality.
it. That's true.
It happens to every one of us. All your memories are somehow different than how you remember them.
Yeah. This is also
It's
psychologically
psychological.
proven. Yeah, it's
Psychological.
psychologically
It's-
proven it happens. So they're still debating
Yeah.
the thing of eyewitnesses and or just in general witnesses regarding the fucking court.
Yeah.
But man, this is such a controversial topic, and
Yeah.
also that with the gender swaps and shit swaps, or how the fuck you pronounce it, I guess. Don't do it as a phase.
Yeah.
You're doing it for the trend. You're doing it for social validation, because that's what most people do it from. That's as far as what I think. And yeah, you're actually hampering those who actually do it. If you really want to do it, don't fucking announce it.
If you're gonna announce it, do it after you have, actual experience, right? After you're 100% sure.
Sure, exactly.
And it's a part of your life now. Then feel free.
Yeah, of course. I'm not telling you the
Yeah.
fuck to do. You decide. I don't give a fuck.
But even after playing badminton for so many years, I still feel guilty if I go around saying that I'm all about the badminton life, because
No,
in that way I feel like I'm still disrespecting the people who are actually all about that badminton life.
And it's not only that.
Yeah.
So I can't really go around and say, "Oh, I got very good results. Oh, I do
Yeah,
martial
yeah.
arts." I don't think as a person you should do that. That's
Yeah.
bragging.
And-
That really is
and
bragging. That
What
comes
I'm
very
afraid
differently.
of is that I don't like bragging. That's obviously
Yeah.
that's true. A lot of people no one likes bragging.
Yeah.
But I'm really scared of I don't like making people feel small about themselves, and I'm so, because this happens subconsciously even, right?
Yeah.
You might make someone feel small without you even realizing it.
Realizing it.
And this scares me, that what if I hurt someone unintentionally, without even knowing?
Yeah. Okay.
Because when we're with friends, we might say some stuff without thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
Or we might just be in the hype train and just say stuff that, it might not make sense.
Yeah.
So, I feel man, what if I say some stuff that might hurt someone?
Right. So I understand you, right? That's a very interesting topic.
Yeah.
Regarding like, I think that goes with maintaining friends.
Yeah.
So one thing I've learned over the time is that whoever you're friends with, you're not gonna be eye to eye at 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And I guess you need to understand and you need to admire that. Fine, you have differences. As long as the main thing works, what do you call it? You have the main understanding, the best understanding of each other. That's the main thing. And you're not gonna agree 100% of the time. Sometimes,
no, like with friends, at least you guys can meet to a level eye to eye, right? Everyone has a mutual understanding. But
right.
This mostly applies for people like, people you don't meet that often, like people that you're like acquainted with. So like maybe if the dynamic's different, like if.
I guess there's more to experience for me as well. That's as far as I've experienced. Like,
for example, like if you, like in Bangladesh, everyone has housemates, right?
Right.
Like drivers, right?
Yeah.
You might say something that's completely normal for us, right? At our level, it's normal, but it might be making the drivers and housemates feel small.
Right.
And this is so sad. Like this is something that we might not even realize forever, and then they might take it they might get really sad about it.
Right.
Like even, for example, like your friends came over and your housemate's cleaning, and you might be talking to your friends about, oh wow, this restaurant was so nice. I really enjoyed the food. I wish everyone should try it out. And then your housemate might hear it and they might feel bad, right? Because they'll never be able to afford it.
I mean, I understand, but there's
so
a part
sad.
with it. I get it that but I don't bounce that much with it because I think that fine. I think that's the nature of the world. You can go around without offending some people. Yeah. At a point, you do have to. You can make
it's
everyone.
It's not even about offending. Like it just makes them sad.
Sad, I understand. I don't want to make other people feel bad about themselves too. But sometimes I can't express myself without doing it.
Yeah.
Like we said something about people going through gender phases.
Yeah.
What about like people going actually through the phase? It's gonna hurt them, right? So everything we say can hurt someone.
Anything you say in life is gonna
so
offend
it's so really you can't do anything about it. And the same goes with friends. Like I said, like this group I found out with you guys.
Yeah.
I resonate well with you because with the main things we agree on.
Yeah.
And of course there are places we can disagree, and that's fine. I'm open to it. It's not like what do you call it? We fucking hate each other for it or anything. You know what I mean? You make your choice, it's fine. But like the main values, if we align with that, that's good. Ah man, but what can I say? I'm just a guy who's 19 and very charismatic.
Hi guys, I'm John. I'm 19 and I'm very charismatic.
Oh god.
That's
not gonna age well now, is it?
The first thing I ever heard you say in this podcast channel.
For fuck's sake. Man, this was fun though. Having like conversation. Like, like I said, these are the stuff that we want to talk about a lot.
Yeah.
But without actually like filming. For example, when we're filming the podcast, I think we can like make each other understand it better. Because we phrase it in such a way that a bigger audience can understand. In that way, we understand each other's issues better.
Yeah.
So regarding that, I guess that's that. The same happened to me with me and Inam the other day, right? So we were talking about dry seasons, if you know what that is.
What's dry season?
Dry season is basically when you don't have sex for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So, the thing is, I think nowadays, due to media, we get that, what do you call that? That false reality of the world is like everybody's fucking 24/7.
Nah, John, everybody is fucking 24/7, okay?
Listen to me. Like, in our place, in the same situation as us. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like they magically have something and they're magically fucking and I'm not. You know what I mean?
No, John. Like, it's so rare to have healthy relationships these days.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And see, that's one thing about... Have you heard about survivorship bias?
No, I did not.
It's like you see all the couples in social media.
Yeah.
Because only the couples post these days. For every couple you see on social media, there are like 1,000 single people who have no one else to post with, so they don't.
Right.
So that's the thing about successful businesses as well, right?
Yeah.
You only see the successful businesses.
Yeah.
That's because only the successful businesses have the resources to be seen.
Right. Very interesting.
So
Very
you see, like, listen, people from you know, underdogs who become really rich, right? People who are like who started off with nothing and became really rich, and they say that, oh, you can do it too. It's really rare. Like, it's so rare. I can't even tell you, because we think it's very easy because we only see the people who made it.
Right.
For every billionaire who made it, there are like 100 million people who couldn't make it. But you don't see, on YouTube, you don't see any lost stories. You don't see any stories of how I lost everything. No, you don't. You only see the stories that, how I
You only see the highlights.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah,
that's one thing that completely changes the way we see reality. You gotta understand that failure is so much more common than you think.
Yeah, that is true.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I guess that applies to
it applies to everything. Like, there's nothing wrong if you're single right now. Like, don't.
A lot of people go, and like one like false thing that people think. I think it even like hits me sometimes. Is sometimes I think like I'll be happy if I get into a relationship, and that is I think like other people say it.
Yeah.
And I guess so. I also believe it is that it really isn't, because sometimes when I realize that when I feel that and then fix something about myself, I feel better, feel more happier. What the fuck does that mean? If you are a loser, get into a relationship, you're still a fucking loser in a relationship.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're not changing anything, and you're not gonna become happier of yourself, because most of the reasons we're unhappy is because of self-worth. So like, we value ourselves lower than, like, you know, we should value ourselves at least.
And the people who get into healthy relationships, right? They can maintain a healthy relationship because they figured out a lot about themselves.
Yeah.
Did you realize that? Because you'll see, most people who are toxic, they don't end up lasting in relationships because they don't have themselves figured out. But people who do end up in really long-term relationships, really successful ones, they're the ones who already figured themselves out and then they got into a relationship.
Exactly, and you should, I think, to make a relationship last, you should be fine yourself too. You should understand your flaws and basically understand yourself better.
Exactly.
Because even though you're insecure and shit, you're waiting for the right one. What if the right one comes? You're insecure, you'll fuck it up.
Yeah. This is also the reason why successful, like really long-term relationships start at a later age. That's because people at that age figure themselves out, you know?
Right.
And it's really rare to see like high school couples who make it into marriage really later in life, because in high school, how many people figure themselves out, man?
Oh, man.
People can't even decide what haircut to get, and you expect them to make a life decision.
Exactly. I think I found that out from my last relationship. It's sort of like I'm not hating on anyone, and I understand that the reason it didn't work is basically it didn't work because sometimes our values don't align.
Exactly.
And that's why you separate, and it's not to hate on the other person. I understand everybody's figuring themselves out in life. For the best course of action in the future, we decide not to be together. It's as simple as that.
And it's the rarest scenario, I'd say, is when the couple, they help each other figure out themselves, you know? And that's really rare. Like,
that's like being supported.
Excessively rare. You know why? That's because that takes selflessness. Like, you actually have to care about the other person and help them figure themselves out.
Right.
And the opposite, the other person you're dating, they also have to sacrifice their time and help you figure yourself out. So those couples, they're like excessively rare. Like,
but there's also, I think, like when you go into a relationship insecure, right? You're technically, you feel you're like entitled to that. You're entitled for your couple to like your significant other to like, what do you call it? Understand you, talk back to you. But the thing is, the problem is, at least, is when you're, what do you call it, dependent on that.
Exactly.
If you're constantly waiting on the other person to fix your life, then you're not doing that. That's the thing.
If you're in a relationship, you have to, like, you 100% have to figure yourself out, solve all your own problems, and then like you can get into a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, it's, we all need some people, like sometimes we need people to like, you know, be a shoulder on. So we, you know, we have to vent to people sometimes, right?
Of course.
But not all the time. You gotta learn and know how to fix your own problems.
You know what I think? Most of the time, you need to learn and fix your own problems.
Exactly. Like 90% of the time.
Of course you vent when it's like, okay, fine. Sometimes you get to vent, it's fine. But like for me personally, I think most of the time I have to pull my own shit together.
Yeah.
And then fix it myself. And that's what usually happens. And usually I fix them myself.
Exactly.
Nothing bad happens. So I guess it goes back to that mentality. Having that mentality, no matter what will happen, I'll be fine.
And you know, like, people have a lot going on inside them that we can't tell at first glance.
Of course.
You might think that, oh, this guy is so simple, he's probably not thinking about much, but you don't know what's going on in his head.
That's
so like people, some people they say that, oh man, I don't like this popular dude in class because he gets everything he wants. He's so happy all the time. He's good at sports. He's good at study. Man, he's good at everything. He has a relationship, right? And people are mad at them. And they think that, oh, they're stupid. But no, the person who's actually achieving all that, they might have a lot going on inside their mind. They might have a lot of struggle, but they're fighting it and they're winning.
Yeah, I think everybody faces like mental, but it's about how you handle it.
You gotta handle it.
You're not given, you're not fucking given.
And my point is, like, instead of complaining, oh, why does this person have everything? Instead of complaining, why don't you learn from them?
Yeah.
Why don't you see what they're doing right?
Exactly.
Because if you're seeing someone successful, you're lucky because you get to see what they did right and what they're doing wrong.
This reminds me of a funny comment once. A guy said that I give other people my advice so I can learn from my mistakes.
Right, I just
That's
understood.
so fucked up. That's so fucked up. It's like a funny comment. It's meant to be one, but still, it also resonates back on that. But sometimes you also have to understand that when you're, like you said, when you're, for example, looking into the top athlete at school, man, 90% of the stuff you're thinking is assumptions you're making.
Exactly, you're making it in your own head.
It really is. And the thing is, think about it. What kind of peace are you going to achieve from making those assumptions? Like, for example, sometimes, on past relationships, we may think, they might find someone new now.
Yeah.
They might have something going with someone right now. But, think about it. Even if it was true, and most of the time it's just assumptions, and I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And what peace are you going to achieve from finding out? No, really, what are you going to... How does that improve your life? How does that make you go forward? You made that clear that you're going to move on a different path from this person, and that's that. Now move on your own path.
Yeah. Man, a practical example is like social media, Instagram especially, right?
Right.
So every time we have a good time, like we take a picture and we post it on social media, right?
Yeah.
And so like imagine you have like 20 posts.
Yeah.
Which are like 20 of your best memories, right? People are gonna see that and they're gonna be
thinking, see you only have good memories.
Yeah, you only have good memories. Oh man, this guy's always enjoying his life. I'm so jealous of him. But that's not true, man. For every good memory, there are like 1,000
bad ones. And that's that, man. Life is full of rejections.
And there are many kinds of people, right?
Yeah.
There are some people who see successful people and they're like, man, I feel so jealous, I feel so bad. And they have all these negative emotions, right?
Right.
But then there are people, like, even in my life, through social media, like, a lot of our friends, they're becoming really successful, right?
Right.
They're getting hundreds of thousands of followers.
Yeah.
And they're achieving a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I feel really inspired by that.
Of course.
I feel like...
good when you guys do something good.
Yeah, I feel so nice, because I feel like if they can do it, and that means I can do it.
Yeah.
And the fact that I know them means that I can ask them how they did it. I can take advice, I mean, I don't need to know their secrets. All I need to know is that, it can be done, right? And then the other type of people, they're like, oh man, I knew him. He was a loner and now he's so successful. And they feel salty about it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good emotion.
That really isn't.
I think you gotta be open. And
I'm like, not gonna, I guess I'm indirectly referring to a lot of people. I understand, they're still my friends, right? But like, today when one of my friends said she got into university.
Yeah.
And the other person was like, you got into university this directly and I've been waiting since lesson and I didn't get it.
I'm like,
it's like, come on man, you don't have to make them feel bad about it.
It's not like anyone's fault that if you're wasting time, right?
Yeah.
See, I try to see the positive of anything.
Yeah.
Because
you should as well.
Because the fact that I'm losing 6 months of university, right? I'm not seeing it as, I lost 6 months of university. I'm seeing it as I gained 6 months of my self-time.
Yeah.
Right? Because now I'm being able to do so much. I'm being able to make this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm being able to spend time with my friends who I might not see in a long time after I go to university.
Right.
Getting time to work on myself. I have a list of things I want to do before I go to university, right? And so this time limit gives me a deadline, kind of. Like, it gives me a nice peace of mind. So try to see the positive and everything.
You should try to see the positive. A lot of shit happens with everybody's life,
Yeah.
And whatever problem you're facing, of course you're not alone. Everybody's going through shit and you should understand that. Even though social media gives you a false representation.
Yeah.
You don't understand everybody goes through problems. They only post their highlights, like you said,
Yeah.
and the bad shit they never post. So yeah, so regarding that, I guess that is true. You should try to see everything in a positive manner. I think that's the best way to improve it.
I feel like, a lot of people say that optimism is naive, right?
No.
I feel
don't
like
think
no,
so.
bro. Like optimism is all we have. Like it's actually like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like if
Okay.
you are positive in life,
Yeah.
your outcomes will be positive,
Alright.
and then you're gonna actually be happier.
You are what you preach. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. So like if I see something in a negative way, that's gonna make me sad, and that's gonna lead to more negativity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like just see the good side. And you'll end up being happier at the end. Because what's the point? You're only alive in this planet
You
for
know,
like.
this is even statistically proven. Like I
Yeah.
told you, that book I'm reading. Referring to that book I'm reading, right? So it's about emotional intelligence. It's a very good book so far, right? It's very informative, at least. It says that people who are usually hopeful,
Yeah.
they tend to achieve better outcomes.
Yeah.
It's like statistically proven than people who are pessimistic.
Yeah. Because just being hopeful, like, not just unnecessarily hopeful, like realistically optimistic.
And I also understand from time to time optimism can like hurt because you're still hopeful and stuff isn't working.
Yeah.
That trust me, that happened
And that
to me
hurts a lot.
when I got into dating apps.
Yeah, but that's the one thing as well. Don't just be foolishly optimistic, right? You gotta be smart about it. You
have
gotta
to be
find find that one reason. Like, you gotta find ways to improve. Keep improving.
I
Find
guess
that
it
loophole.
goes with like small rewards, right? Like
Yeah.
if you can just, let me give you an example. You can just say your goal is, I want to be a millionaire and be optimistic of it. And when you don't get it,
That's too
you
vague.
say that's too stupid.
too
Be
vague.
optimistic about small stuff that like you get like
It's
results
like
of quickly.
realistic,
That leads
right?
to a larger goal, of course.
And you listen, you need hard work, right? Your end goal is like to be a millionaire by the end of age of like 25, 30, right?
Yeah.
But that's way too vague, right?
Yeah.
Do some research and like search how you can achieve that. Like the number one way is to study and to like learn shit and to improve yourself, right? And to gain a skill. So if you don't do that and if you just keep preaching the same optimism, then that's just a waste of time.
It really is. You have to be ready to learn as well. There's
Like honestly, like there is so much value in just being practical these days. Because there's a lot of motivational content out there.
man, let me give you an example, right? Motivation, I guess it has its wrong sides.
Yeah.
Like, it's temporary, man. It fires you up for a second,
Yeah.
or a minute, for the lucky people.
Yeah.
And then, it goes away. It doesn't tell you how.
And there are some people who keep chasing that high, like that motivation high, like
It's not
if I just read one more book.
sustainable.
Yeah, nah. that
It's
is
like,
not.
and like, don't be like fucking Ty Lopez. Read one book a day. The fuck are you gonna understand from reading
Nah.
300 pages a day? You're not gonna understand anything. All you'll remember are fucking words.
But at that point, you gotta ask yourself, why am I reading these books? You're reading these books so you gain some skills to do stuff,
Yeah.
right?
And reading books isn't about fucking the milestone of finishing the book.
Listen, like even practicality, nothing beats practicality. Like if you read 100 engineering books, right?
Yeah.
You keep reading engineering books, but you never start engineering.
That is
What's
so
the
true.
point?
And like my dad, who has engineering experience, he
Yeah.
even says that. He's like, start fucking
Start
work
it
as
exactly.
soon as possible. Like, let me give you an example. When we decide to start this podcast, we search up how to start a podcast. We research and all that shit, all the best equipment and shit. We don't even start it.
Right. You don't need any equipment, man. Just grab whatever you have. Like I am using an iPad to record this right now.
Hey, it's a flex. That right there is a flex.
No,
iPad
but
with such a
no,
good
but no
quality.
one would have thought about this, right?
That is true.
Exactly. Like this is not how you're supposed to do it. Like, oh, people are like, you have to buy mics, you have to buy cameras, you have to buy all this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, listen, you have everything you need. You have your phone. That's all you need.
Yeah, you do.
So we don't have excuses these days. Like, oh, I can't do this because of hardware limitations. No, you have no excuses. Just start it. Or if you find a stop, if you find a blockage, then fix it, right?
You're right.
Don't try to fix all your blockages before you even start.
Start it, right. That's also true. We've been talking for a while, huh?
50 minutes.
Damn.
Wow. We started with
Where's this podcast gonna go, by the way?
I don't know, man. We started this when the sun was up, and now it's sunset.
Nah.
Hey, the sunset's very nice.